Hello, hello. So I think, let's see. I'm checking now. I think once again I've done this and it's upside down. Cause hi Terry. How are you? Oh yeah, okay. So it is upside down. So I'm really good at that. It seems like every time I go live on YouTube, I'm upside down. So I think that maybe I should start sitting on the other side of my table because that's where my camera mount comes from. But that's okay because here we are. I'm totally here and I can just flip everything around so that it's right side up for you, which is really easy to do. Hi, hi. Is that you, Lissa? Is that Elsie Crafts? That must be Lissa. So I'm like a full 10 minutes early. Am I too loud? How am I? Like, I kind of try to project a little bit when I go live, so let me know if I'm too loud. Hello, Michelle. I'm a full 10 minutes early. So I do that so that I can check everything and make sure I'm going in the right direction and my phone's plugged in and has a charge. And then also I'm going to share the link around a couple places. Feel free to share. I am propping up my tablet so that I can make sure and talk to you guys while I go through all my stuff. I figure we'll just do a journal flip through of my Badassery journal and show you some of the supplies that I use because I didn't get a chance to film any videos for this one. And we'll just chat. Does that sound good? I love it. I love it so much. I love connecting with people. Oh, good. Not too loud. Okay, I'm going to plug my phone in, so if it gets a little shaky for a minute, that's why. There we go. Then the phone won't lose battery. Won't go dead while we're filming. And I got lots of stuff to share. What's everyone doing this week? I can't believe tomorrow's Friday and that today is August 1st. It's August 1st, you guys. Holy cow, what are we supposed to do with that? Remember when we were all scared that it was 2019? Because I remember that. All right, so I'm going to share this in a couple places and make sure everybody who wanted to be here can be here. And then we'll get going. Does anybody have any sort of questions at the beginning before I even get started? Remember, I am going to go over the journal and the supplies that I used, but if maybe your question doesn't have to do with one of those two things. I know, sorry. I don't know what to say. Don't leave. We don't start for another couple minutes, but I promise I am here. So if you want to chat, you want to say anything, please feel free. Totally, totally awesome. I'll be glad to chat with you until we're ready to go. Gonna let it scoot a little closer to 6. I'm really excited to share this journal with you. It's so fun. This journal, by the way, the idea comes from Tina Walker. And so she's the awesome artist that I am partnering up with to instruct the Mad Matter workshop, which is that huge dye pot, eco dyeing workshop that I've been advertising for. So the two of us got together and did all of our knowledge dump and figured out a whole bunch of things and comprised that into a workshop. And she's just so freaking talented, you guys. I can't even, it just blows my mind how talented she is and the fact that she wanted to hang out and do something with me. So that's really cool. All right, I'm just going to share in one more place, and then I think that I will be ready. All right. Let me come back to this screen. Hello, hello. Oh, Shala. I think I need to send you an email because I have an UmWowStudio order that got returned to me with a Shala name on it. Is that you? Is that what's happening there? It said undeliverable as addressed. So I'll have to double check that address, but... All right. Okay. So I think I shared it in all the places, and we're getting closer, and we're inching towards 6. I'm so anxious. I can't wait. Tell it to hurry. Straighten some of this out a little bit. All right. So who is there now? Who? Okay. Let's see. Let's get a conversation going. Who art journals? Also, if you're here to see this journal, you probably won't care about this, considering this journal is slam-packed full of curse words and fun stuff. But I am at home. I do have an 8-year-old, and I also have I have an 8-year-old boy, Gabe, and I have a 10-year-old dog, Kamos. So they're both very loud, and if they find their way to the art studio, we might have to deal with that. So just maybe be a little prepared. All right, 2 minutes and counting. So close. All right, well, I think I don't want to wait anymore. I'm really excited. And since I've shared it in the places and we have 20 people here, we're going to get going. So welcome to my YouTube channel. So I haven't done very many YouTube lives. I do really want to do more of them. I'm going to try, but that doesn't mean I'll come through. If you see me, come on, you're welcome. Hang out. Today, I'm going to go over this journal here. So it's hard to tell in the pictures how small it is. Everyone who's seen it in person has gone, oh my gosh, it's tiny. And it really is. It's so exciting. So this is a journal made as part of a group challenge called the Badassery Fuckery Art Journalers, or something really, really close to that. So it's brought on by Tina Walker, who is an amazing mixed media artist out of Pennsylvania. And she does some really incredible stuff. And she kind of just, I think, one day said, you know, I really love the word fuck. A lot of us do. We kind of avoid it a little bit if we are on social media and, you know, if we're in the public's eye at all. But maybe it's time we celebrate that instead. And so that's what we did. And you guys, the group is huge. There's like 60 some people in the group who are all ready to art journal with the word fuck. It's really exciting. So then in addition to that, you know, we needed some products. So I designed some new products for UmWowStudio. And then we got to work. This is the first reveal. And then we'll have a second one in October, and then a third one, and then hopefully a fourth, fifth, and sixth. And we're kind of just going to keep going. And this really, for me, gives me the outlet to be super, super honest with my journaling. Not that my other journaling isn't honest, because it is. And it's not that I necessarily censor myself, but I do try to sort of keep it a little reserved for anybody who might be offended by curse words or, like, you know, nastiness, which can happen. And so, this just gives me the outlet for that. And so I'm going to really conserve all of that sort of stuff for these little books, which I freaking love so much. And yeah, so we're going to go from there. Does that make sense? How's that? So this little journal, the base of the journal is made out of this vintage paper. And I am a ledger collector. This ledger, I got in a set of 3, and they are like super grungy, nasty, just so awesome. Like, I feel like they definitely came out of some sort of, I don't even know, like, I want to say mechanic's garage, but why would you keep going back for this type of stuff? But it's just a gross ledger. Look at her. The edges are really torn and nasty, and so I use this one a lot for base pages. It makes really good base pages. So here is what it looks like if you just have one page, which is what my little journal is made out of. And then this is a double page, which is what I actually made these out of. So they're sort of dry runs, but I wanted you to see how this works. So it's just one piece of paper that's been folded and cut, and then this would be the spine. And it all opens like this. And so, like, here I would glue these 2 pages together. And so this is a tutorial that I got from Tina to put this together. And so that's the base that's inside. And then on the outside is a muslin cover, which is 100% cotton. And it's been stenciled with one of those new stencils that I designed for UmWowStudio I told you about. So this stencil here, you can see all the gesso that's on it. And it just says fuck over and over and over. And all of this stuff in the background, not necessarily in the background, but the gray is golden fluid acrylic, carbon black, and water. And I use a lot of water when I use my acrylics because I really like them to be washed out. And then I went back over it with some gesso. And I also painted these lines in, these stripes, because I love stripes. I painted those in with Rowney's fluid acrylic ink. And the cover is secured with a couple of layered buttons and a piece of the 100% cotton rag ribbon that UmWowStudio has that I had that I had rust dyed in the past. All right, so I have a little wheel spinning on my video. Are you guys still with me? Can you see what's going on. Is it there? Should I keep going? Do I need to stop and refresh? Hello, hello? It says we still have 20 people, so if someone has a second and could make a comment so I can see that we're still here. Yes, no, maybe? I feel so silly sort of just sitting here, but well, what if I flip through pages until somebody chimes in? I guess I'll just keep going. All right, so that's how the cover was constructed. And then the inside is where this part of the book starts, where these pages that we made starts. So I glued the first page to the cover, and then I did some gesso work. And oh, I did, let's see, so I should say before I cut my page, I did some gel printing. So I love gel printing. These are the two main colors that I use for this project. And then here is my 5x7 jelly plate, and you can see it's dirty and gross and awesome. And you can even still see the colors on it that I used. It has good stuff. And the stencil that I used mainly while I was jelly printing is actually this mask from UmWowStudio. So it says FUCK as in fuck really big. And you'll see that on one of the pages. And so then, oh, and that's Amsterdam acrylic, so turquoise green, and then this is Venetian rose. Gorgeous, gorgeous colors, and they work really well together. And they pair really nicely with the vintage tones that are in my journal. And so then back to this, so I jelly printed on the back and then cut it on the ledger paper, and then cut it down to size and glued my pages together, and then I had this little book. So I did some gessoing to sort of help it blend into the covers. And then this big like pattern here is so cool. This is a piece of bubble wrap that I have. And you can see I do use it when I'm jelly printing, but for this particular finish here, I just used some watered down fluid acrylic with a brush, and I painted it on, and then I stamped it, and I got this awesome, awesome texture. And it is so cool, and I'm definitely going to be using it in a lot of other things as well. So there's no words or anything on this page, and then this page is just a little bit of working with that background and sort of introducing myself to the journal. So this is the green, the turquoise, and the Venetian rose you can see has been jelly printed, and when I jelly print, I get this sort of very blocky type effect, and I'm actually really close to having a website done where I'm going to start putting online classes, and I'm going to have the jelly printing basics my style, so like my way. And jelly printing is awesome. It's done a whole bunch of different ways, and I've taken it from a bunch of different instructors myself. So if you get a chance, you should take a jelly printing class, and I'll have one available soon. But so this is the jelly printing in the background, and then this is just some gesso work, and this is a wet Stabilo, and then you can see there's some graphite on this page too. Now I do have a very specific saying that I want to put on this page, but I haven't figured out how or like what style I want to use, so I'm reserving that page for that. So stay tuned for that. And then we really get into it pretty hard here. So there's the jelly print in the background, and then I am using masking tape and wet Stabilo. And then this says, I'm a delicate fucking flower. And if you can see, a lot of my sentiments were made specifically by me. And this is what my sort of my little paper scrap area looks like. And you can see here, I've clipped out areas and clipped out words. And sometimes I can get a whole word, but sometimes not. Sometimes I have to layer them up. This here, I think, is French, French or Italian. And so I can get different like arrangements of the letters if I look in here. And then it's funny because most of the time I can't even read it. But yeah, I just have little clips here like this. And so I could get took, or I could almost get background, or if I just needed the ACK or the CK, like for example for fuck, then I just take that out and I build the rest of the word from other variances. So you can see like delicate, fucking, and flower were all made that way, because I can't always right away find the word I need, and I don't want to hunt forever for that. And then this is the Wild Lilies chipboard piece from UmWowStudio, and it's been embellished with a white Sharpie. So that Sharpie, let's see, here's my jumbo Sharpie. I use this a lot to make like big areas or to splatter. Oh, and then here is my fine Sharpie. And you can tell they've really been loved. They're getting really grungy on their caps and stuff. And like, they are not pretty markers anymore. But they get the job done and they do what I need. And this is just more of this rust dyed muslin. Here you can see the F really well. Let's see, where'd I tuck that guy? I kind of keep setting stuff to the side when I'm done with it, but, oh, here. So when I was jelly printing, that's what came out, was that void in the jelly print. And then I just used like a regular graphite pencil to enhance it. And I did some line drawing. So I actually, these horizontal lines come from my, well, not AutoCAD, but technical drawing days when I was doing technical drawings for products and parts and things like that for manufacturers. And then just some shading and shadowing to really make that F stand out. And I'm going to say again, just real quick, if you guys are talking to me, I'm sorry, I'm not seeing it. It still says people are watching, and I don't know if we're still recording live, but I'm going to power through real quick and then shut it off, which kind of sucks a little bit because I wanted to have a back and forth with you tonight. So I'm not sure if you guys, the ones watching, just happen to be kind of quiet or what, but if you're there, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me. So back to the book, the next page. This page had a lot of the jelly print on it. So I like white space, and when I was jelly printing, I was jelly printing right on that big page. And so there was white space, but by the time I trimmed, I didn't trim anything, but by the time I cut it and folded it and glued my pages together, this whole page was pretty much covered with paint. So I didn't have enough white space for me. So then I made it grungy with some Stabilo, and I painted a piece of muslin and put it in. And then I did some mark making with a Stabilo, and I did some gold leafing with, sorry, that's my husband. He's on break at work. I did some gold leafing with Mona Lisa gold leaf. There's masking tape. You guys will see masking tape in my work a lot. I love it so much. So these are the two sizes of masking tape that I use the most. There's 1/2 inch and 1/4 inch. And then I do have a roll of 1/8 inch that I bring out sometimes, but it's so thin that sometimes it gets kind of wonky, and sometimes I have a place for that and sometimes I don't. But that one's over in my tape bin. I'll have to show you that someday. And then again, here is more of that, you know, word making or sentence making with those words. So if I bring this close, I don't know if it's gonna focus. I'm gonna check real quick. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's okay. So it says, if I said fuck, would you hear me better? And I love it so much. It's one of my favorites. And then this next page, so this was really nice because there was a lot of white space on this page, where this one had no white space, this one had a ton of white space, and it's really interesting how that was working out. Oops. So I did some more wet Stabilo. I really like to use a soggy sort of damp Stabilo, and I painted in some stripes. And then this, I did a new stencil that says Abso-fucking-lutely for UmWowStudio, but I didn't get that one out. I went back to an oldie but goodie here. These are the stencil letters and numbers stencils for UmWowStudio. So there's a third one that goes in this set that has all the numbers in it. And then this is A through P, and this is Q through Z. And then there's also the punctuation. And then the last stencil has the numbers on it. So I wrote out fuck, FUCK, and I just love so much how it doesn't fit on the actual page. And so, I mean, you can definitely tell what it says, but, you know, you don't get the whole F or the whole K. And then they're really nice. I did the diagonal line thing again as sort of an ode to that page earlier. And I just traced these letters with a graphite pencil, and then I went around the outside with that fine Sharpie again. And we're coming up on the end here. This page here, I love so much about this page. I really do just love every tiny little section in this book. Every little landscape area. But this page had a bunch of the teal, the turquoise, really, really nice. And then just sort of a hint of the pink. But the white I actually got by using a piece of muslin like this. And I just lay it down on the page, and then I use a brush with a really thin amount of gesso and sort of scrub it on there, and then it bleeds through the muslin onto the page in this really cool linen-like texture. It's really, really neat, and I totally urge you to try that. You might not like it, but I love it. It adds a whole different dimension and texture to the page. Watery Stabilo dots for marks, and then I did some asemic writing. And then this fuck, if you'll believe it, is actually this one here. So look at how different it looks just by being drawn through. And then I just kind of gave it a little bit of an ombre effect by not filling in all the way to the bottom, but it's the same stencil that's on the back. Look at how cool that is, how different they are. And this one says, he said, she said, fuckhead. I love it. I love it so much. And I have masking tape in a couple areas. One, I like the masking tape as a mark maker, as a layer, as a background builder. But then also, in some places, I needed it to strengthen my book pages because they are made from this, like, I mean, it's old and crispy and crunchy, kind of almost wax-like. It's so old. And, like, see how the edges, like, it's, like, soaked up grease or something. That's why I kind of think it came from a garage. But it's so fragile. It's old. And so I need to back it up in some of these areas with some masking tape. And then the last page, this one's really fun because this is super symbolic. Rather than being so in your face and just saying fuck on this page, I have these 4 really intense scribbles that to me are like F, U, C, and K. And again, I glued the back of the page bundles to, I guess it would be a signature, the back of the signature to the back cover. And I just used Uhu for that, and because my muslin was nice and soaked with gesso, it glued on perfectly fine. And here you can see another part of that mask, the K-A-Y for K. So I have F and K, and U and C are kind of tucked in here somewhere, but I don't know where. So that's it for my journal, and then this just wraps around here like this. And clasps, and it's all closed. And then here are some of the supplies that I sort of always have on hand. I mentioned I would go over supplies. A foam brush. It's funny because I never use a foam brush for this end. I always use it for this end. I use it to make polka dots and dip into things. This is my best friend. So this Catalyst by Princeton, these mini blades are so incredible for smearing and for using through a stencil and just all kinds of things. And they're silicone based, so everything just peels right off after it's dried, which is awesome for me because I'm a terrible cleaner. Here are some of the paintbrushes that I love. So this is actually a watercolor brush by Grumbacher, but I've abused it and used it in my acrylics. This here is a liner, yeah, a line brush. See how thin and long these bristles are? So I use that to make really small stripes. This is a nail brush. Actually, I think I bought a pack of 25 for $5. Here's another watercolor brush that I've abused and used for acrylics by Grumbacher, but I love them so much. I also use Simply Simmons a lot. For some reason there aren't. Oh, this is a Simply Simmons. And then this is a gross paintbrush. This is from Target, and I always leave it in the water, but see, it's a filbert at the top, and then I've sharpened the bottom to make scribbles. And here's a scraper tool, a clay tool. Here's another. So there's a third. Poor Grumbacher. I'm sorry, you guys. This is another watercolor brush that I use for acrylics. I had buttons of various sizes. Oh, and here's a, like, when I have buttons, I've always just bought them in a pack, and then I always get some gross ones like this. But sometimes if you just layer up a couple buttons, it can really help that button look a little bit better, which is what I did on the front of my journal. These are some of those vintage texts I was talking about. These all come from UmWowStudio. I have a vintage paper pack. And I think that's really it. I don't know if we're still around or if we're still live, but I thought I would tough it out to the end here and see. So I wanted to show you real quick these new chipboard pieces that Tina Walker designed. And these are called Scribble Girls. They're really incredible. I'm going to play around with these tonight and see if I can't get something really fun done with them, but check them out. Aren't they cool? That's brand new to UmWowStudio, along with all of our fuckery censored chipboard and stencils. And you can check all of that out on UmWowStudio.com. You should check because the chipboard is really fun. I didn't use any of the new chipboard in my journal. But I am going to in my next one. We have all kinds of things. We have the FBomb. I do have one of those right here. So this was a prototype. So the F doesn't actually come cut out anymore. And the reason is because then people can use the bomb if they want. And the F is separate. So it comes in the package also. And you can sort of like glue it on top if you want. But yeah, so that's the FBomb. And then I have like hashtag FBomb, fuck, FUCK, like fucking fuck, like fuckery abounds. There's all kinds of things. Oh, badass. This, that, me, you. It's all there. Check it out, the censored tab on UmWowStudio. And then these new girls of Tina Walker's are underneath the Signature Series Tina Walker tab. All right. I'm going to stop this now and see what happened. Thanks for being here.